Yeah, you guys probably thought that you guys were going to get out of day 2 guidelines because I did another video. You're wrong. I am committed to doing a video a day on the guidelines. And I'm not kidding. I'm going to do it. You better believe it. So let's look at the very first guideline that we have here. I'm going to put it over here so I can see you over here. I love the technical parts. Okay. And now I will need to see myself. Where's my mug? Here's my mug. Okay. One of the most important things that we need to start with, and in fact, thanks to the leadership team, we actually moved this bullet point into the #1 position. It was buried down within the other guidelines, but we believe that it's actually one of the most important guidelines, and so we are making sure that we hit it hard. We are not an entertainment space. That's true. I'm going to read what we wrote for those of you who have not yet read the guidelines because I know how many people actually read them last night. It's fewer than 60. I'd like there to be more. Thank you. It says, while we hope we are engaging in a pleasant place to be as well as informative and instructional, we are not here for amusement or as a distraction. We take this work seriously, and we assume that if you are here, that you take the work as seriously as we do. I'm going to stop for a minute because I want to remind something. If there's any staff or leadership team currently watching this, could you please put down required viewing, no reacts, new norms apply. We take this work seriously, and we assume that if you are here that you take the work as seriously as we do. Toward that end, we ask that you spend enough time here to actually get something from it, and that you not limit yourself to what you find easy. That means different things to different people. How much time spent is an individual choice, but we will say that the more you are here, the more benefit you will receive. Scrolling and rolling is not going to get you to where you say you want to be. Uh, that's very true. I did an interesting exercise, a rather sobering exercise this morning as I reread the guidelines. I'm getting to the point where I read them every day. It's going to get to the point where I can just not even need to look at them. I can just say it by heart, which just would not be a bad thing. I mean, I remember Bible verses when I was 7, and there are still some, what's going on with the spectacles? There are still some Bible verses that are in the noggin 50 years later. It actually works as a tool. But in any case, I was looking at the website, not the page, but the website. There are 203 responses, about 170 unique ones. Some people responded more than once. There were some dialogues. Starting from March, going into now. And on the one hand, it was very encouraging. Lots and lots of, I've never seen anything like this before. It's amazing. I look forward to being in this space. This is terrific. I'm not sure I can live up to it, but I'm going to do my best. There are fewer than 10% that are regular members of this community. Some of them may still be lurking, but most of those names that I saw, I didn't recognize. So I wonder how much value they got from the space. This was true in March. That was before the influx, and it's even truer now. I know that a lot of what we do is difficult, and guidelines notwithstanding, what we're asking of you is more. It's different. It's more than what other websites and pages ask of you. We are not going to back down off of that. There are lots and lots of spaces, literally thousands of them, on the interwebs and on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, where you can do exactly that. You can just scroll and roll and ultimately forget. But I think that there is something, well, I'm not sure if I want to say sad, but I was definitely pensive when I was looking at these responses from people I never ever saw again. Who you are in this space is who you are. And by the time I was done with comment number 203, some trends emerged. Usually, the more poignant, the more congratulatory, the more complimentary, the more purple, the longer the prose, the better the odds I didn't see them. Sometimes it's better to underpromise and overdeliver. There is nothing like reading literally a missive of someone who has just come to such realizations as they're reading these guidelines and, oh my God, and then you never see them again. I wonder about that. I wonder about that. I want this to be informative and engaging. I want you to have fun. I mean, let's face it, I'm a goof. So if you're going to be here, you're going to have some fun. You're going to get some stuff in your noggin. But you got to stick around because it's not going to stick around if you bail. The work of racial justice is fairly simple. It's kind of like politics. I did electoral politics for a long time, working for Dems and for like a parachurch organization, a paradem organization. Um, and I know what it takes to run a good ground game um, for a campaign. Even with the new technologies that allows us to micro target and do all that fun stuff, there's really not a whole lot to it. Call, call, call. Door knock, door knock, door knock. Get those mailers out. Call, call, call. Door knock, door knock, door knock again. The day of the election, get out the vote by any means necessary. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, there are some other people that do the esoteric bits of making sure that the hair is professional but accessible, making sure the suit is professional but not harsh, making sure that there are no sharp things in the hot dog you're going to eat at the state fair. But by and large, it's a ground game, and you do basically the same thing over and over. It's the same thing with race. It's the same thing with social justice. I'm going to either drop myself or ask one of leadership team or staff to drop the Vox article again. We need to read it again. We need to learn how to be slow cookers and not woks and not microwaves. You can get the equivalent of the frozen burrito at 7-Eleven in any other space out there. But that is not what we're feeding you at the Lace on Race Cafe. Not even takeout. Not even takeout. We're going to give you good stuff, but you got to show up for it. You've got to consume it and internalize it and get nourished from it. And the only way you can do that is to come again and again and again and again. It's kind of like, let's see, here it is. It's kind of like my diabetes medication. Metformin over here, glipizide over here, insulin in the refrigerator. I can't just take it once and think it's done because, I'm not great on med compliance. And the first thing my primary care guy says is, how many days did you actually take it, Lace? And we're trying to get up to 100%. We're at 80. I don't like taking pills, but I know that I relapse when I don't take them. If I let a week go by, not only am I hurting myself long term, because basically diabetes is a degenerative autoimmune disease, and yeah, I'm hurting myself, but I also get those infections. I also feel lethargic. I also don't feel like waking up in the morning. So if I want the full benefit of all that Kaiser has to offer, I need to take the pills every day, twice a day. I can't not take them. Reading about diabetes is not going to help me. Looking at diabetes cookbooks at the pretty pictures, oh my gosh, look, avocado roll ups. I could do that. It's not going to help my blood sugar level. Looking at pictures of sneakers on dsw.com is not going to help me exercise. I need to do the work. So I can do the work and it's going to look boring. My life isn't going to change that much if I take the metformin and the glipizide and the insulin and I exercise and I eat right. Bad things happen when I don't. One of the ways that I was helped to think about being more consistent and compliant in my diabetes regimen is I, I, I have a real block about it. And the staff and the leadership team at Laison Race have been incredibly instrumental in helping me decide that I am worth living and I am worth taking the pills, right? But it's not a slam dunk all the time. It's sometimes it's hard. It's hard remembering that at the end of the day, I have a disease. It's hard remembering that we're racists and that we suffer from white supremacy and racism in this soup that we're all in. And it's something that we have to do every single day, that we can't just read one article or watch one video and then we're done. So I ask that everyone who viewed this write confronted or affirm or something that says that you did it. This is required viewing, and the concomitant essay that I am going to be writing on this particular bullet point is also required. Those of you who plan on being on Chef's Table, who plan on going deeper and farther and faster, this is absolutely required. We will be looking at people who want to become part of Chef's Table to see whether or not they completed all of the elements of the guidelines training. Thank you so much. I love you all. Talk to you tomorrow. Get ready for day 3.